Hello and welcome to Jeddah here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as we get ready for our qualifying time trials. The UAM E1 World Championship presented by PIF is back. It's season 2, ready to go again, bigger and better as we are here on the Jeddah Corniche, a jewel on the Red Sea. Whole history of the old time mixed with the modernity of the E1 Ocean Club, and this is the course they're going to be taking on this weekend, Shelley.
It certainly is. It doesn't look that hard from here, but trust me, there are some really tight, smart marks in there that they've got to take, especially on the short lap and the long lap. Now, the short lap is new. That's going to really throw them into a complete zone of where are the marks? Which mark am I going to? Honestly, it looks like a maze when you're on that start going out there.
Yeah, but they won't have to do that, will they, this morning in the qualifying time trials? We have got our 1A session coming up. 5 boats will be out there. All sorts of complicated factors to bring you up to speed with. They're just milling at the moment, 2.5 minutes before the start of the session. But in this session, Shelley, they have to do a minimum of 1 lap, but they only get 3 timed laps once that green light is go on this session.
We're literally taking the best lap out of this session. 3, they can do it all in one go, so they could do 1 setup lap and then do like basically a faster lap and an even faster lap. Now that's what I would do because I would be in the zone and I'd want to keep going. But if they don't want to, they can come in back to the launch zone, have a breather, have a chat to the team and go back out again.
We just saw inside on board with Lucas Ordóñez driving for Westbrook Racing. That's Will Smith's team out there. They missed the first round here in Jeddah last year, but then they came on a storm and who knows, could have gone to take the championship last year if there'd have been more rounds. We're inside the Team Blue Rising boat. There's John Peters, who's getting ready to go. Now, he's made an interesting switch this year, Shelley, from being team principal.
Team principal to driver. I mean, that is one big switch. And actually this year, he is still the team principal. So there's a lot on his head. Yeah, just milling at the moment. He's a bit of a character, is John Peters. You'll find out more about him as we go on through the weekend. Just so you know about this qualifying time trial format as we switch to the new boat, actually, perhaps we should say. That's Rusty Wyatt, who's down in there, rides under the US flag, but he's a Canadian and he's made a splash in the world of boat racing in the last year or so, and it's a new team. That's Team Alula, championed by LeBron James. Add that into the mix of some of the other names we've got. Your Will Smith, Virat Kohli, his Team Blue Rising we saw there with John Peters, Team Drogba with Didier Drogba, the owner of that one, and this is Team Miami, if I'm not mistaken, down there with the Iceman himself, Eric Stark, Mark Anthony's team, and Eric Stark looked seriously impressive on occasions last year, didn't he? Yes, Eric Stark is from the world of Formula One powerboat racing, and he's a legend in the racing world. So let's watch him. He will be one to reckon with.
So these are 5 race boats that will be out there for this first qualifying time trial of the weekend. There will be 4 separate sessions. These 5 boat sessions will be of 20 minutes, and the other B sessions with 4 boats in will be of 15 minutes, and in that they have to just pick 3 timed laps, and we are go. The green flag is waved and they're away, and straight away, isn't it beautiful to see these boats already up on the foils? Now this is the unique aspect, isn't it, of E1 racing, Shelley, to see these boats flying across the top of the water.
The E1 race boat is so unique. There is no other series where you have the foils and a motor, and it is so difficult to drive. These pilots are literally flying at the same time as driving a boat.
So we are riding on board here now with Rusty Wyatt, just looking at the conditions out there as we get going, because I think that's such an important part. We can see the layout that he has to take on in this session, but as much as anything, the water conditions are going to be crucial here today. How are you reading it from here in the commentary booth?
Boat racing is one of the hardest motorsports there is because the surface is changing underneath you all the time. It looks smooth, but actually there is a little ripple there. And we've got wind to contend with as well. We've got gusts today of 14 up to 25 mile an hour. That's a pretty big gust.
you see there, he's cornering there at over 60k, up to 75k. Oh, as he straightens up a little bit, just dropping on the ball ever so slightly there. But Rusty Wyatt looks like he's going for his lap straight away. So he had that installation. That was a 105.8. I tell you what, Shelley, in terms of what we've been looking at in testing earlier this week, in free practices early today, that is super competitive for the brand new Team Alula.
105 straight out of the box is incredible. So let's see what he can do on that second lap. He's going again, as I said, keep it in the zone and keep going with it. But
looks like he might have just dropped off there slightly. What I didn't see, and what I wasn't able to see, is if he did go on that short circuit. Now, it is a feature for the races, but not for qualifying time trial. He may have just taken a little bit of a short one. If not, that 105 was seriously impressive from Rusty. He is off it on this lap. He's about 6 seconds outside that. So maybe he is having just a lap off it. Lucas Ordonez looks like he is also setting off. Yep, he's just rounded the third smart mark, so he's around the far point, and it looks like, yeah, Team Alula's bike is sat down now, Shelley. So it looks like Rusty Wyatt has decided to abort mission. Yeah, he's gone to the milling area, so that's his lap done. I tell you what, that 105.8 that he's put in already will take some beating.
Yes, but are you, like you said, are you sure he did the correct lap?
I'm not certain of it.
No.
I'm not certain of it. We were on board with him. It was hard to see. I tell you what was striking about Rusty Wyatt is how serene it looked inside that cockpit. But I tell you what, there is so much going on for the pilots. He made it look like a little ride on the local park pond.
He certainly did. You saw there with Team Blue Rising, the water coming over the screen there. That's where they've obviously dropped that foil, and the boat has landed quite heavily. The E1 boat has, like, he took a bit of spray over there, so that would have just given him a little bit of bad visibility for a short second.
Keeping an eye now on Eric Stark. Oh, this is Blue Rising. Actually, we'll just take a switch back to John Peters, who just dropped off the foil ever so slightly. It looked like Eric Stark was going for it. So he was on a personal best. Of course, it's his first lap, so it would be his personal best. We're just about to see Eric Stark coming round now, coming round the final mark, and now it's the straight. The finish line not too far. There you can see the checkered smart marks he came through. 4 seconds behind. That Team Alula time is so super competitive from Rusty Wyatt. But Eric Stark for Team Miami, powered by Magnus, third after his first go at it. A reminder, they have 3 timed laps.
Yes, you would think that by now that Rusty would have been told that he'd done the wrong course, but it doesn't seem to be. So 105, I don't know where that came from.
That's an absolute stunner, isn't it? From Rusty Wyatt for Team Alula, championed by LeBron James. We just mentioned that name, the NBA legend, all-time leading point scorer in the NBA, and he's involved now in E1. John Peters has just come across the line now, and he's just gone up into second place for Team Blue Rising. It was a baptism of fire, really, for Virat Kohli's squad last year. Pretty much all change inside the Team Blue Rising squad this year. John Peters moves himself. He's the only constant, really, pretty much in that team. Sarah Mizia, the Jamaican off-road driver, joins him as the other pilot inside that squad this season. And after a tough first year, it looks like they're really up for it this season, judging by what we've seen in testing and in practice already. He's just rounding the top part of the course, and there you can see Team Alula, Rusty Wyatt, going again, not too far behind John Peters. What I would say here, Shelley, is we've talked a lot, we saw a lot last year. You want to avoid wake, you want to avoid noisy water as much as possible, but he's not too far behind John Peters, is he, Rusty, at the moment out on the course?
Clean water is always a must, and that's where, when we get into the races later, the short lap and the long lap are going to really help the pilots. This is Oban here in Team Drogba. She wasn't feeling too great just before this session, so let's hope she can come out well. She did amazing in practice.
She was superb in practice. She was superb last year. She was the PIF Pilot of the Year in 2024. Just turned 19 last week. Oban Duncan from the UK has just come through into third place. So ahead of more, what should we say, established names such as Lucas Ordóñez and Eric Stark, but Oban Duncan has just put the Team Drogba boat up into 3rd place. An excellent start for the 19-year-old.
I think Eric was doing a warm-up lap, if I'm honest. I think he was doing a little warm-up lap, and he's gone back to check the situation and see, oh, we dropped that foil into... That was quite a hard landing there for Westbrook.
This is the bottom part of the course. These are the final long corners. They come back round the finish line. There you can see those checkered smart marks either side of the Westbrook Racing bike. And he is setting off now on another flyer.
Yeah, so how did he do? 109. I do not know where Rusty got 105 from for Team Alula. It was incredible. I think that's the fastest time we've seen today.
Yeah, pretty sure. Everyone else was around. Oban Duncan was the fastest in Group 1 earlier today. She did a 108. And in the Group 2, there was a 107. Group 2A, there was a 106 from Danny Clos. So keep an eye on him for Aoki Racing, who also had a tough first season at it. But we'll see Team Aoki, Steve Aoki, the DJ, his team will be going out in the B groups. And that's coming up after this session. We are on board here with Eric Stark, who I think we were just catching a glimpse of.
Yeah.
He's just setting a time now. He goes through and up into 3rd place, do you say? Felt like an installation lap earlier on, didn't he?
Yeah.
A 108 across the line that time, but that lap's gone away from him, so it's disappeared off our timing screens. I wonder if he missed a smart mark somewhere. Looks a little bit frustrated, a bit edgy. I heard him described last year by Mark Anthony as the Iceman, Eric Stark. Cool customer usually, but just a bit agitated here because he's completed 2 laps. He's currently down in 5th.
Yeah, that is interesting. They're all getting very, very much the same, apart from Rusty Wyatt.
We're just hearing, Shelley, in my ears from race control, that lap from Rusty Wyatt for Team Alula is under investigation. So we will see. We'll get a good idea, and I'm sure our race control team will be all across it. They'll be looking back at the footage. We couldn't see, could we, from on the onboard cameras. As it stands, it is Team Alula with Rusty Wyatt top of the picture. They've done 1 of their 3 laps, or John Peters is in 2nd place for Team Blue Rising, Team Miami and Eric Stark in 3rd, and then Team Westbrook Racing and Team Drogba 4th and 5th as things stand.
And Team Blue Rising is still out there now, so John Peters trying to do another one. Here we go. Look at it fly. He has got that trimmed beautifully.
Balanced perfectly. There is a fine line, isn't there, when you start to get up to that 70k, the pilots say how unstable the bike feels on the foils.
It is so unstable. The E1 race boat, when it literally is, you are flying and driving a powerboat at the same time. It's completely unique. It's one in its own. And look, you see there, a little wobble there he got. Now, I can only describe that as if you had a tray and you were holding a marble in the middle of a tray. That's the feeling he's got there, where he's literally just balancing it on the edge. So fine. Here we have the crew of Team Blue Rising.
Yeah, currently sat in 2nd place. I'll be really pleased with that. It was a tough year for Blue Rising in season 1 of E1. But they get to go again, and the teams will have learned so much after those races we had in that first season. Of course, it was dominated pretty much by Team Brady, who were the reigning champions, but there's been a bit of a mix-up. And everyone, I suppose, had the winter now to settle in, to go through all the data, to have a look at their boats, as it looks like Oban Duncan is about to go again in some nice clear water now.
Yes, now that is an excellent choice, Oban and the Team Drogba. Well chosen, nobody else. Well, we've got 1 person out on the course still, Team Blue Rising, but a whole half a lap ahead. Let's watch her.
Yeah, so she'll round that smart mark there. Oh, a little jump there.
Yeah, a little bit of pulpusing there. She just didn't get it quite balanced.
And then back round now through the left-hander. This is where the track merges from the long lap. There we can see Rusty Wyatt going again, his 1:05.87, the top time in this session so far. So Oban Duncan on the far side of the course. They're very close to each other now, actually, as Alula get going. Drogba just about to round this sequence of left-handers that bring us back to the finish line. He just dropped down off the foils there ever so slightly as she tipped in to that mark.
She did tip in, but there has been discussion this week all among the pilots whether actually dropping it down into the corner and dropping that foil could be an asset. So I'm really interested to see how many pilots do that.
To get it turned, is that?
To get more grip, I think, which would kind of make sense.
Here comes Rusty Wyatt now, gets straight back on the full, doesn't he, just after that smart mark. So there was no improvement from Oban Duncan on her lap. She was 3 seconds off. What's Rusty Wyatt do? I'll tell you what, he's not far off on this lap again, and he has done it correctly, I'll tell you, on this occasion. He's just rounding the final couple of smart marks now as he comes to the line. What's it going to be? It's not a 1:05 this time, 2.2 seconds off on that occasion as he came across the line. That was a 1:08.0 from him on that go around.
But 1:08 is sort of more in the keeping with the rest of the pilots. I will be very interested to know if that 1:05 was the wrong mark taken and he went into the short lap. As I said earlier, there is a lot going on out there. There are a lot of marks and you've really got to know where you're going.
One of the other things here is how compact the times are. Just 3 seconds covering all 5 boats. That's super tight. That's closer than it definitely closer than it was in season 1 of E1. And I tell you what, this year the talk from the pilots is this variable boost, as it looks like Team Miami are going again with Eric Stark. The variable boost, Shelley, is a big change for this year, isn't it? Last year the rules were 20 seconds of boost, you had to wait 40 seconds for the next one, but this year it's variable. You can basically take that boost whenever you want.
And it's going to really open up the field and make it hugely competitive, because they can do 2 minutes of boost and then it will take them 4 minutes to recharge. Then they can do...
There was a big nosedive there, big plunge from Eric Stark as he dropped round that mark. Did it help him or did it hinder him?
Yeah.
So you're saying, so they're effectively 1 second off, 2 seconds off. 1 second on, 2 seconds off on the boost.
Yes.
Is the long and short of it.
However long you use the boost for, it takes double to just recharge. But to be able to use it for 3 seconds, just if you were trying to catch somebody and then maybe recharge and again, or if you were gaining on somebody on the straight, you could keep using it, but knowing that you can recharge once you're ahead of him, as it were, or her.
Let's see Eric Stark for Team Miami come across the line on this occasion. He improves, and I tell you what, we thought that 1:05 was competitive. He just clocked a 1:06.4, just half a second outside of Rusty Wyatt's time. The Iceman cometh, doesn't he? Eric Stark up into second for Team Miami. That was a stunning drive from Eric Stark. Rides under the UAE flag, but a Swede by birth. This is mission control for Team Miami. Important part of the whole equation here, because the personnel up here are in direct contact with Eric and the Team Miami pilot out on the water.
Yeah, just like in our Formula One motor car racing, we have the whole team there. Probably one person is actually talking to the pilot, but they're looking at all the analysis, the data. They're watching the engines, making sure. We have Katie Munnings there. We're looking on ahead at her teammate out there, so she might be talking to them as well for Team Alula, John Peters.
And the brilliant thing about E1 is there's a male and female pilot in each team, and in these qualifying time trials both lap times count. They calculate an average of both the male and the female pilots, and I tell you what, there is complete gender parity pretty much, isn't there, in this sport. In fact, you just pick anyone to be as quick as another pilot out there.
100%. There is no need for massive strength here, as it were. They need to be very fit, and they need to be core stability strong, maybe neck strong, because you are in a canopy with a crash helmet on, etc. But the females sometimes have more of the finesse, I must say.
So here we go with Team Alula again, and Rusty Wyatt just rounding that bottom part of the course, and just rounding the final smart mark now. The finish line waiting for him, and looked pretty good out of the final corner, but a 108 on this occasion from Rusty Wyatt. No improvement on that.
105.
Incredible lap time from earlier today, and
he doesn't look very happy.
Rub of the eyes from Team Alula. Katie Munnings knows that she'll be going out there in the next hour when we have the qualifying time trials for 1B later. Ooh. Will drop down for Lucas Ordóñez. We ride on Will Smith's Westbrook racing boat. Coming round the final smart mark now to the finish line. Across the line. Is there any improvement on this occasion for Lucas?
No.
This time. That was a 108. Just outside of his previous time. Lucas Ordóñez, very po-face, isn't he? Got the sunglasses on. Looking like a cool customer down there, but I tell you what, there's Sarah Price up in mission control for Will Smith's Westbrook Racing.
And that is Steve Curtis as well, 7 times world champion, huge amount of experience, renowned racer throughout the world.
Well, that's good people to have in your corner, isn't it? So important. Can you just explain how important the voice in your ear in mission control is when you're out on the water?
They are the be end and end all. You can see very little in that cockpit. When we get into the races, we need to know who's coming up behind us. We'll chat about that later when we go near. But now for qualifying, they're really just looking at the screens and the data and how much boost they've got left, where's best to use it.
It looks like this could be a final go now for Team Blue Rising and John Peters. He has only completed 2 of his time laps. Oban Duncan, the other pilot, to have only done 2 laps so far. So hoping now that, yeah, it looks like Oban's lining up. She's just about to cross the start line. So right at the end here, we've got 1.5 minutes left to go in qualifying, the time trial, should I say. And John Peters halfway round the course, and he's not too far off, but 0.9 off halfway round. And he's the under actually through that second sector. That's a really good sector put in by John Peters. He's made up some good time here.
But look at the cockpit view, Gavin. That is why the eyes on the land are so important to you.
He's about to cross the finish line now, John Peters. Is there any improvement from him? There is an improvement. I'll tell you what, he goes within a second of Rusty Wyatt's time, and John Peters up into third. Less than a second covering our top 3 in this first qualifying time trial session. There you can see in the background Sarah Mizier. She's getting ready to go out on the water later. Oh, this is Oban Duncan.
John, yes, I was just about to say
halfway round.
Drogba is, now that's, we've got 25 seconds left of this session, Gavin, and Team Drogba, Oban, is actually in last place at the moment. She's not got to finish her last lap. Yeah, and I think she stopped out there. I think that could be her and Team Drogba done. You can just see a few concerned faces, so maybe it looks to have cut out halfway round. Yeah, you see that she's got the top of the cockpit open. So there's no drive in there, we're being told from mission control. Oh, that's so frustrating, isn't it, for Oban, topping free practice earlier today. Yes, look, in the practice she was doing a 108, so she really was in the zone. She, you know, 2 seconds off what the time is now. Yeah, so frustrating for the Brit, isn't it? So we are hoping now that we might be able to have a word with the brand new Team Alula, championed by LeBron James boat. Rusty Wyatt is down in there. Rusty, I hope you can hear me. This is Gavin back in London. That was some lap time to put in there. What were conditions like out on the water?
No confirmed change to the rest of the timings, so the other group will be at 13:45.
Not quite sure that Rusty can hear us down there.
There may be some delay, but nothing confirmed.
Yeah. Just an update to his timings so that we can hear what mission control, the words they were having with him down there. We'll sort that communication out. He looked very stony-faced. I tell you what, he should be having a beaming smile, because that's the best lap we have seen so far from Rusty Wyatt, right at the off in the session.
I would be ecstatic, Gavin. I would be over the moon right now. He literally has nailed that straight out the bag.
And then obviously Katie Munnings will be sat back in mission control, as she'll be thinking, I want to follow that one up and back up my teammate. Because,
yeah, no pressure, Katie, no pressure.
Fantastic start. This is a brand new team. It was only announced a couple of days ago. It was only presented to the world. Already I've read so many news articles about the fact that LeBron James is getting involved in E1 racing. It's absolutely fantastic. One thing I'm noticing here, Shelley, is them getting the cockpits roofs open very quickly before they're even back at the launch zone. It must be scorching down inside those cockpits.
Well, we've got 28 degrees outside in Jeddah today. I'm going to guess that we're probably up to late 30s in the cockpit, which is not a pleasant situation. And then you've got fireproof overalls on, you've got a full life suit on, and then you've got your hands device on and your crash helmet, and then you've got your harness on top.
Yeah, it's steamy, shall we say. Very steamy. So Team Alula make their way back to the launch zone. Team Drogba not able to do it, and you can see it's actually looks like it's have to be towed back
in.
Yeah,
yes.
No drive for Oban Duncan.
She'll be devastated.
Absolutely. Look, she had actually posted a decent enough lap time, a 108.8, and let's not forget, it is average times from both pilots that will decide their position in qualifying races. So this is what we're trying to work out, is the seeding when they go into the qualifying races. The faster time in this time trial, the inside lane you get going in the qualifying races later on. So there's Katie Munnings, all smiles down at Team Alula, and who can blame them after our first session qualifying time trial of the day. And it is Rusty Wyatt who topped it for Team Alula, brand new team, and already
brand new
on
pilot.
Top. Amazing, brand new pilot to E1 this year. I mean, he's come over from the US last year, had a stellar season, rookie of the year in F1, and here he is in E1. He is, pardon the pun, but he's making waves, isn't he?
He is certainly. He's making tsunamis. He's making more than waves, Gavin. That was one stellar run, and very proud. And of course, Katie raced last year, but she was racing in another team, so she does have the experience under her belt. But it's between the two racers, you've got to have a great rapport. You've got to have a rapport between the whole team. It's a family.
These are the times then at the end of that Group 1A qualifying time trial. Team Alula topping it with a 105.87, but I'm amazed how close those top three are. Within a second from Team Miami and Eric Stark in second. Team Blue Rising, Virat Kohli's Team Blue Rising there in third. Will Smith's Westbrook Racing were fourth, ahead of Didier Drogba's team there, a 108.88, and Oban Duncan. Let's head down there to the Ocean Club. I believe Alex has been able to catch up with Rusty out of the boat.
Rusty, what a way to introduce yourself to E1 Series. 105.08, how did you manage that?
Yeah, you know what, we've been struggling all week really with setup and whatnot, and you know, the guys and Barney in engineering, we kind of went over all the info and put a setup together that was unstoppable by the looks of it here. So very happy with the 105, and the boat is amazing.
Yeah, talk to me, it's your first time racing these. What's it like driving that, flying that?
Yeah, Team Alula, championed by LeBron James. It's been a fast-moving program. You know, this is our first race, obviously, and just kind of getting with the program. And myself, actually, of course, being in the first season for me, and Katie's been a tremendous help. She's been around for the whole season one, so her info is everything, and I'm just happy to be a part of the whole team.
How much are you looking forward to speaking to LeBron James, getting some advice off him?
Yeah, LeBron's been huge. You know, we got the Toronto Raptors where I'm from, and when LA comes in with LeBron, it's always a huge show. So I'm hoping to get out to one of those games and then meet LeBron one day here soon.
Well, what a way to start. All the best for the rest.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
What a cool customer. Thanks, Alex, for that. Yeah, what a start it has been for Team Alula, championed by LeBron James and Rusty White. What a beautiful shot of that boat up on its foils, flying across the surface of this Red Sea inlet here in Jeddah. Shots now after that stunning slow-mo of the scene here in Jeddah. You can see the little breeze just ruffling the umbrellas down there and the flags in the background. It's a bit choppier than we had for testing earlier this week. I'm not saying it's as choppy as we found in Puerto Banús down on the Costa del Sol last year, because that was rough for these E1 boats. But it's something, it's another challenge, isn't it, to throw the way of these pilots. And we have just seen co-pilot Eric Stark down there, and I believe Alex has been able to catch up with the Iceman.
Eric, welcome back. Good to see you again. How did it feel to be out there racing?
No, it's super nice to be back. It was a decent quali for us. You know, we have been here testing before, and you know, we have been struggling a lot with pace. So we did some last changes now for the quali, and finally we are in the right direction, and it felt really, really good. Yeah, nice to see Rusty up there. Like I'm competing with him in Formula One. It's always, you know, him to fight against. So yeah, now I have him again.
Bit of a rivalry then, an ongoing rivalry with him.
Yeah, he doesn't stop. It is tough. But no, he's a great guy. So yeah, I'm happy for him to be here, and it's good to have people pushing us.
9 teams this season. Would you say it's more competitive than ever before?
100%. I think like half of the team can win this championship easily. So, you know, last year maybe we had some advantage, us coming from powerboat racing, but you know, that's gone long time ago. You know, now everyone is quick, and I really need to look in the drawer and try to find some more speed.
Eric, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's hope it is top draw stuff from Eric Stark when he goes out for Team Miami later on. A great performance in that one. He'll be waiting for Jet Girl Anna Glennon to go out later as we just take a look at some final shots of the Team Miami boat powered by Magnus. Mark Anthony's team, great first qualifying time trial session. We'll be back very soon indeed with some more stunning E1 action. The Group 2 session from here in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia will be coming up very soon indeed. Welcome back to Jeddah. We are ready to go with our second group of qualifying time trials. 4 boats out there, Team Rafa, Team Brazil, Team Brady and Aoki Racing. It's Meritt Strømøy from Brazil, Sam Coleman from Team Brady, Danny Clos from Team Aoki. And for Team Rafa Nadal's squad, we've got Cristina Lazaraga, who's going out there. Teammate Tom Chiappe will be heading out later on this afternoon. And I think we're going to be able to hear from Tom. He should be down there at the Ocean Club at the launch zone with Alex.
Tom, great to have you back. Great to see you again. How much are you looking forward to another season?
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here, like really exciting to the starting of the season too, so I can wait the start of this race, so yeah.
We were just talking about Rusty's time, 1.0508, and you said, no big deal, I got 1.04 the other day.
Yeah, no, I'm joking about that because, yeah, I make a really good lap in training session, but yeah, anyway, like Rusty is a really good driver. For sure, he's coming from Formula 1, so he will really know soon how to drive the boat and really fast, so, but we will see, like anyway, we'll check the condition of water not changing of the qualifying lap, so we will see.
Have you had any good luck messages from Rafael Nadal?
Yeah, I spent really a lot of time with him on the last season, and I can't wait to see him again in the race week, so yeah.
Brilliant, Tom. Vamos, Rafa!
Yes, vamos.
Yeah, Tom Chiappe. There is the Team Rafa boat with Cristina Lazaraga inside it, so she's heading out for this qualifying time trial this morning. Tom from a racing dynasty, really. His father, Philippe, is a 3-time F1 powerboat champion, and so it really is made in the family. He himself has been a world champion. He's also a karter too from his younger days, but just getting ready as the boats are in the milling area now. Just 50 seconds before the green flag goes at the start of this session. There's Team Rafa with the maroon and orange, and in the front of the picture, Team Brady. Conditions look pretty consistent, Shelley, as they get ready for this Group 2A time trial.
Yes, I was just looking at the temperatures and the weather there, and look at that was the humidity that I think is really making these pilots suffer a little bit in the heat. It is incredibly hot inside the canopy of the E1 race boat.
There are the defending champions of E1, Team Brady, and looking cool as ever is Sam Coleman, getting ready for the green flag to wave at the start of this session. But they won 3 times last year. Oh, this is interesting here. There's going to be a rush, isn't there, to get to the inside, and now he's going to get dirty. I wonder if he'll pull out this one straight away.
Look at that. Team Aoki and Team Brady fighting for their qualifying session there. They wanted the clean water, so I bet you they were literally both on the edge going, go, 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 as soon as the clock said they could go for their session, because everybody wants to go out on that first lap.
New look, Team Aoki, same in Yousef Al-Abdulrazzaq down there. She's up in mission control, but Danny Clos has made the switch over to Team Aoki. Change of colours as well. That's beautiful. You're not going to miss that boat, are you? When it's out there, beautiful design livery on it as well, in that pink and light blue. So Danny Clos got the run on Sam Coleman there, and I have to say Danny looked good earlier today in free practice. He had the fastest time of the free practice session this morning.
Now Team Brady, Sam is still actually right behind him, as you can see. I would imagine he is going to use this as a setup lap now, as he has lost that clean water. Oh, they're like racing here. Oh, look at this.
Well, Danny Clos just went for the outside, didn't he, of the start gate there, and then he's cutting back. There is a little, but he had to give way there. He had to give way.
Do you know what? Team Brady have just completely mucked up Team Aoki's racing line for this lap, which is this is great. This is great racing in qualifying.
Yeah, you've got to feel now Danny Clos will roll out of it and will just abort this lap.
Well, they've actually both mucked each other's laps up. I'm not sure that in qualifying you're supposed to do that.
That lap, I have to say, Shelley, from Danny Clos when he came across the line, a 105.576. So another stunner. Sam Coleman's himself was a 106.5, and he's going again now. But as you can see, through the second sector is 4 seconds outside of Clos's time. So this is an aborted lap. Yeah, you can see how wide he is out of the smart marks. And so this one will not be a completed lap from Sam Coleman. This one not a time. So he's gone back to the milling area. And as you can see, Danny Clos also doing that. But that is some lap time, isn't it? Right, we've got Team Brazil out there. Excellent. We're seeing Meritt Strømøy now. How cool is it to see Meritt Strømøy in an E1 boat? She was in concert back home this week. She's a professional singer as well as a supremely talented powerboat driver, but she's piloting for Team Brazil this year alongside Timmy Hansen, and she's on a fast lap now, Shelley.
She certainly is. She's not quite flying that perfectly. She's landing into the water with the hull, so she just wants to... Oh, she's got it steady now. There she goes. She's up and she's flying it now without the hull in the water, which is the key point of an E1 race boat. But yes, she's a legend in F1 powerboat racing world. She was on the team last year, but now she's actually moved in to be one of the pilots, which is so exciting.
Switch across to the Team Rafa boat here of Chris Latharaga as she just rounds that little kink on the back straight and then lines up for the final turn on this course. Chris Latharaga then is rounding it. It's Aoki top by 0.29 from Team Alula. That's what we saw in the first group earlier. So with that lap, Danny Clos is the fastest of the time trial so far, and Team Rafa go up into 6th place on the combined times. Chris Latharaga, really good lap there, 108.197 from the Spaniard. And there you can see, if things remain the same, the top 5 will go through into qualifying race 1, or at least the top ones would, and then the bottom 4 into qualifying race 2. And it looks like, yeah, there we see Danny Clos. Is he going again? Yeah. So you see, just about when he picks up some pace, then you'll see the bike pop up onto the foil. And here we go then. He goes again. A little bit of boost to get him going, perhaps. Variable boost this year in E1. And away he goes.
I think the variable boost is what's making these times so close. Everyone said after all the practice sessions, the variable boost has really opened up the field and made it so competitive.
So he rounds the first smart mark at the far end of the inlet here.
Hear how quiet it is when they're up on the foils.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's like a plane. I mean, it's like you're flying. That's
the all part of the mission of E1. Sustainability, environmental action, particularly in terms of noise pollution and underwater noise too, vastly reduced with these electric powertrains.
Now Team Aoki and Team Brady are giving each other lots of space and clean water here. I thought that was a bit mean actually in that first bit with the 2 first boats out there, Eric and Sam. They were really fighting.
So Danny Clos across the line here now. And was there any improvement on that lap? Not on this occasion, unfortunately. It was a 107.9. Right, Sam Coleman is on a time now. back on the foils he goes, and the balance, this is one thing, one of the hallmarks of his racing last year we saw in E1 is the balance that he showed, the way he's able to just, look at it float, there's no dropping into the water, keeps it perfectly on the foils until he hit that first smart mark in the final corner.
Yes, but as we said earlier, I'm not sure they're actually purposely dropping into those tight corners.
Oh, look at that! Just look at the turn, the grip it gave him. That's how you described it. And grip is the ideal word as he comes across the line there. Just not enough on this occasion, a 107. He lost time, unfortunately, in that final sector. There's Emma Kymäläinen at the back of Mission Control, and she's keeping a close eye on proceedings down there. She'll be going out.
0.9 of a second they've got between them. So literally just 1 second between Sam and Danny.
Joe Sturdy down on the left there. He'll be in the ear of Sam Coleman out on the course. Here is Team Rafa. Christina Lasaraga heading across the line for another timed lap. So she's already clocked one, a 108.1. Just dropped down a little bit there. That helped her just come through that kink. But up on the foils once more. Can she improve on the 108 that she had earlier on in this qualifying time trial session? Up again for the Spanish pilot. Rafa Nadal made his appearance a couple of times last year, and they always seem to perform so well when the team owners are actually down there, either in the Lord's zone or up in the hospitality units. There you can see on our virtual map through turn 5, through that little kink on the back straight.
She has got that flying beautifully. Oh, and just as I say that, she goes into
commentator's curse straight away.
Sorry about that, Chris. Oops, shut up, Shelley.
Round she goes through this long left-hander. How much has that cost her? She'll hit the line any moment now. On the boost, you can see it sat up on the floor. She got out of that final corner beautifully there, and across the line, she did improve. She did improve, so it didn't affect it too much. 107.1 now, so only 1.6 behind that topping lap time from Team Aoki, but it means 6th place in the seedings for Team Rafa. Don't forget, however, don't forget that Tom Chiappe will be out there later on this afternoon, and the combined lap times, we take an average from them, and that will decide on their seedings for the qualifying races. So up in Mission Control, everyone focused on the job ahead. I can't quite see Michelle Olobaidam, but she is there, I promise you, just in the somewhere in the back of pictures. She just poked her head around. It looks like we might be getting going very soon with Team Brazil and Meritt Strømøy. Just sat, and there we can see straight away, right on cue. She's just coming out of the milling area now and ready to cross the line. Can you see those checkered smart marks? There they are. You see the drone up ahead as well as she gets ready to go, and that lines herself up perfectly for that first smart mark. You see the trim on the right hand side, how she's having to adjust that. Shelley, explain to us there what's going on.
Well, Meritt will be very, very useful to that. We are actually trimming the engine angle there, so the prop, the angle in the water where it is, and obviously don't forget we've got that foil with the prop below at the back as well. So she's just trimming that engine out. So she's trimming it out to get just as much speed as she can, probably add a bit of boost at the same time. Can't see the boost on here at the moment. On our graphic, but that trim, look how she's touching it all the time, in out, in out.
And 80 kilometers an hour she got there, just as she comes round into that little right hand kink through turn 5, and now up to 60. Smart mark on the inside, she drops it down through the corners at 50 k's, just adjusting, working, constantly working on that steering wheel. On the trim.
She's actually quite high. You can see she's trimmed out, so she is literally on the ragged edge, as we call it.
And then she has just improved her lap time by 4 seconds there as she does so, down to a 108.2, so a really good second lap on that occasion from Meritt. Excellent improvement from her first effort in this session. As we take a switch down into the Team Brazil boat. Looks calm as anything, doesn't she, down there? Vastly experienced. Jeff Saltman there.
But this is so different for her, Gavin. So different. Team Rafa here, just about to start their lap. Chris Ladraga. Let's see what she can do now, because she does fly it. Look at that hull, doesn't touch.
That is gorgeous, isn't it? Oh, and got through. I'll tell you what, that looked really good through there. You can see the fine little adjustments that she's having to make.
Yeah, now she seemed to have lost it just a little bit there, where she sort of was rolling from side to side. But it is so different. What I was saying, Gavin, is Meritt's come from F1, but quite honestly, it doesn't matter. For all the powerboating experience in the world, this is unique. This is a class of its own.
Chris Ladraga is competing well. She's in 6th place on combined times, but I cannot get over how tight those lap times are. Just 3 seconds covering the field. But here, Chris Ladraga, 1.6 behind on a previous lap. On this one, just that little splash down there. She's outside at the moment. Can she make up time through this final part of the corner? I believe Sam Coleman's just set off on his lap, so we'll keep an eye on Team Brady in a moment as Ladraga comes to the line for Team Rafa. There you can see.
107.
Yeah, still the 107 from previous. It was on that occasion a 107.9. She did a 107.1 earlier, so not an improvement. Right, what's Sam Coleman got here? Looks like just outside through the 2nd sector.
He is running that beautifully. You see, he's not too high, he's not too low. Still digging it in on those corners. There's something to be said about that.
Get it turned, isn't it? It's a
yeah,
way of,
get that grip and take the shortest line. That's what he's doing. Look how close he is to these marks. He's brave to come close to those smart marks.
They picked up time in that last sector, but still not enough to challenge Team Aoki's Danny Clos, who's clocked a 105.5 in this session. Just 1.5 minutes to go. And Danny Clos and Meritt Strømøy, so Team Aoki and Team Brazil, still to go. And this is going to be interesting here, because whoever goes first, and it looks like it's going to be Team Aoki. Yep, Aoki Racing's Danny Clos is off. He's up, he's on the foil, and away we go. So his final effort around the course. Team Brazil will also have to go in the next minute. She might, Meritt Strømøy, just give herself a little bit of room to not have dirty water in front of her.
She will definitely be after clean water. That's what she wishes for all her life. She dreams about clean water.
I'll tell you what, this is a good start from Danny Clos, already 0.2 of a second under as we head towards that first sector. We'll see the split come through half a second out, so just losing a little bit of time round there, but still in touch on the Aoki Racing boat. See the negative trim there from Danny Clos as Meritt Strømøy in Team Brazil's race boat heads off for her final time lap in these qualifying time trials. Danny Clos on the far side, Shelley has made up time in the 2nd sector, and he's made up a whole chunk of time. I think that's the fastest 2nd sector that we've seen so far.
It's definitely, it's the best overall for sure, so that is certainly it. In that 2nd sector, he did 22 seconds.
And Meritt Strømøy through the 1st sector, he's under through that 1st sector. So Team Brazil looking lively right at the end there. A little drop down for Aoki Racing, and I think that might have just cost Danny Clos. He still has the fastest time, however, in this session. Keeping an eye now on Team Brazil on the far side of the course, just rounding turn 5, the little right kink on the back straight. Reminder, this is Group 2A. Group 2B will be out after we've had the Group 1B boats. There will be 5 of those coming up very soon indeed. Lost time through the 2nd sector, so that's cost Meritt on this lap. She drops it down to get it turned through the final part of that corner, across the line now. Any improvement for Team Brazil? Not on this occasion. In unfortunately a 108.6 for Team Brazil by the Claure group, and Marcelo Claure, the entrepreneur and businessman who's the owner of that team, and they are 7th on the combined times. That's a good effort though, isn't it, for her first qualifying time trial?
Well, I was just about to say, it is so different to what all of these drivers are used to. They've come in, they're now pilots in the E1 race boat, which again, as we say, she's got a smile on her face, bless her. Well done, Meritt. But it is such a different game. There is so much to learn for there. So yes, all the experience in the world, but she just hasn't had enough time behind the wheel, I think, at the moment. As we said earlier, she was actually in concert at the beginning of this week.
I find that amazing. She missed a day of testing.
She missed a whole test day because she was actually in concert singing, which is her other professional career.
Yeah, our pilots come from all kinds of worlds. Yes, some from the world of powerboating, but for the likes of Danny Clos, a former Formula One driver, Formula test driver as well, and hopefully we are going to be able to go on board with Aoki Racing's Danny Clos. I don't know if Danny is going to be able to hear me down there in the water, but what a stunning time, a 105.5, Danny. What a start to the day.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was an okay lap. We put everything together, and yeah, it's good to start like that. Good to be fast. Thanks to the team, Aoki Racing team, because they are doing an amazing job, and this builds up confidence. So that's good. Let's go. Good start.
Yeah, fantastic start. Well done, Danny. You bring it back to the launch zone now. That was absolutely superb, wasn't it, for Danny Clos? He says okay. Shelley, I say absolutely stunning.
I know, very cool about it there. He was sat in his cockpit. Cool in character, probably absolutely steaming hot in body. But yeah, I thought that was amazing. He's got out there with some of the top people. Sam Coleman, you know, reigning world champion in the E1 championships. Meritt Strømøy, Christina, that was quite a difficult group, and he whooped them all.
Yeah, excellent performance from Aoki Racing and Danny Clos. Well, he's given his teammate Yousef Al-Abdulrazzaq some real hard work to follow there, but I tell you what, she'll be absolutely delighted, won't she? The local pilot, they have got off superbly. And again, a big turnaround for Aoki Racing, a tough first season, but as it stands, they're on top of the timesheets at the end of our first couple of groups of time trials. Aoki Racing and Danny Clos then a 105.576. Team Brady was second in that session, but on combined times a little bit further down. Team Rafa and Christina Lasaraga there in third, and for Team Brazil, Meritt Strømøy, excellent performance in fourth in that session, but that is of course qualifying time trial Group 2A. Next up, of course, we will have time trial Group 1B. And we are back in the launch zone. All the boats look superb, don't they? It's such a pretty picture that they paint.
They just look like the ultimate machine, don't they? They're like a Porsche or a Lamborghini on the water.
They're like something out of Star Wars, I think, the way they fly across the water. Let's hear from another of our pilots down there in the launch zone. Sam Coleman's talking to Alex.
Sam, bit of a battle out there at the start with Danny Clos. How did that happen?
Yeah, we're both trying to get the clear water. You saw in both sessions, the first boat on the water set the fastest lap. So we were both being a little bit aggressive just to try and get there first, and Danny went up the inside, but I actually enjoyed chasing him. I reckon that was a hell of a lap to be just a second off him in his wake. So the rest of the session wasn't great with chasing some balance issues, but I'm really happy with that lap to say that I was I was following him the whole way around.
How are the conditions out there?
Yeah, similar to last year. In the afternoon it gets windier and choppier, and we have to manage it. So it's just a constant chase of the clear water and trying to time a good lap. So a couple of guys have put some great laps in, and we just need to see where we finish up.
Defending champions, does a bit of pressure come with that as well?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I felt like we got off on the right foot last year, so we had pressure all last year as well. So we just need to keep stepping up. All the other teams are doing a great job, and we got to keep pushing as well.
Have you spoken to the big boss?
Yeah, he's given us all the confidence to push on. I mean, he's got a lot of faith in the team and everything we do. So it's nice to catch up with him, and we're looking forward to seeing him soon.
Sam, thanks. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, when the big boss is a 7-time Super Bowl champion in Tom Brady, there's always going to be a bit of pressure because he only knows one thing, Tom Brady, and that is winning. It's what they did in season 1 of the E1 World Championship, and that's their job, is to defend their title. And Sam Coleman's made a good start to that today. A solid performance, second quickest in that group. We'll be back very soon indeed with Group 1B, our next set of qualifying time trials here in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, as we look at some beautiful pictures of that E1 race boat of Tom Brady's Team Brady and Sam Coleman. Welcome back to Jeddah. We are here in Saudi Arabia for Group 1B's qualifying time trial, and these are the teams heading out in this session. Team Drogba will be represented by Yousef Al-Abdulrazzaq. They've got some work to do after Oban Duncan's boat earlier was left stranded out on the course. Team Miami out there as well. Team Blue Rising, Team Alula and Westbrook Racing. Team Alula of these were the fastest earlier on with Rusty Wyatt, but now is the turn of Katie Munnings to follow up, and that's the key, isn't it, Shelley? Because all these teams, we've seen half of their squad out there, and it's up to these 5 who are heading out there now to follow up the work that their teammate did earlier, because this is a 2-pilot game.
This is a 2-pilot game, 1 female, 1 male, and this is where they've really got to work together. You know, you don't want to let your team down. It's an amalgamation of both their times, and they've got to work together. It's a lot of pressure for this second pilot. I would not want to be the second pilot, especially if I was Katie Munnings, where Rusty Wyatt did such an amazing job, and Anna Glennon as well. Eric Stark went out there and did a sterling job. So yeah, it's a little bit of pressure.
Katie looks cool though at the start, even though you can see the sun beating down. It will be stiflingly hot inside her race boat. There is Rusty Wyatt up in mission control. What sort of thing do you reckon that he'll have said to his co-pilot in between sessions?
He would have told her about the water level, basically that where there was a tricky bit, she would have gone to the corner and said, watch yourself there.
Been here for a couple of weeks. Yeah. Oban, I know your qualifying didn't go as planned. Onwards and upwards from here.
Yeah, absolutely. We are so chuffed to even be out in the second qualifying session with the issues we had in the first session. So yeah, we're ready to just get back into it.
What were the exact issues?
So a part of the engine has snapped on us during our qualifying session. So the team have worked absolutely amazing to get it replaced and get us back out for the next session.
So it's all fixed?
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we should be all good.
What's your message to Yousef? What did you say to him?
I said to him, just forget about the issues and go out and smash it like he knows he can.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
There speaks youth exuberance, isn't it? Just get out there and smash it,
yeah.
Yousef.
Go smash it, Yousef. No pressure, poor guy. But amazing. Here we have Team Alula straight out, going for the clean water. No battle this time, Gavin. No fight for that clean water.
Yeah, and I just wonder there, Katie sat it down because she was about to cross the smart marks, I think. Yes, she was going to hit before the green flag, so she's missed, and now she's gone again, but she'll have lost momentum there.
That, I would have turned around.
I wonder if she's been able to speak to race control and say that she's aborting. She's gone round the first smart mark.
But
she didn't cross the line before, but anyway, she has done since.
She's going to be annoyed at that because that start has ruined her. Her whole setup there, she was going. Her team have probably said suddenly, no, the green flag hasn't dropped. So, but she can't abort, that's the problem. She can't abort now because she's on the racing line, so she's just going to have to do best she can. But you're right, she's lost a lot of speed at that start gate.
Important, isn't it? We see it from the race start. The race start is a rolling start, effectively, I suppose we would call it in other forms of motorsport. You want to get to that line in a race as close as you can to the green flag going. Here in qualifying time trials, as soon as the green flag goes, but she just went that little bit early, and it meant that the lap would have been cancelled.
Yeah, and then she had to drop and then go up again, but I don't think she could abort at that stage. It's part of the rules.
I tell you what, despite that,
look at that.
107.846, I think, is super competitive. That's a great lap from Katie Munnings there, following up where Rusty Wyatt put in a 105 earlier. You know, on combined times, which is what we'll have average times from the 2 laps, that is an excellent performance. It was pretty much a standing start.
I'm shocked at that. It just goes to show how good she was having that flying round the course there, because her start was bad, most definitely. Here we have Team Drogba. So Yousef has really got a lot to do now. Poor Oban, we just heard something cut. They actually snapped something on the boat. And to have that mended so quick.
That's a great team effort, isn't it? Let's not forget it's his team effort, not just in terms of pilots, but all of the mechanics and engineers working behind the scenes. Those up in mission control who'll be saying to Yousef Al-Abdulrazzaq as he gets up towards the far corner of this racetrack. He is underneath. He's had a really good first sector, actually, as Yousef here. So this is a great start for the Kuwaiti aquabike jet ski world champion, and performing well at the start of this time trial session. Got 20 minutes for the 5 boats out there. They've got 3 timed laps they're allowed to complete in this one. As we watch him round this final, he just drops the left-hand foil into the water, get himself turned. A little bit of grip, as we've dubbed it already, comes to the line now. And what's that going to... He stops the clock there at 1:10. He lost a lot of time in those second and third sectors.
Yeah, I think it was the corners there. John Peters there advising, that would be down, that's Sarah there, Sarah Mizar. Now, obviously, John Peters did a great one at 1:06, didn't he? So, John Peters, the team principal and pilot, he did a sterling job out in the first qualifying session. Let's hope Sarah can do the same. There he is. Now he's talking her through everything. He'll be saying to her, this is the corner where you're having the most problems. Take it tight, take it wide. You know, dip the foil in and grip, or not, keep it flying.
It was a 1:10.9 from Sarah on that occasion. So she'll have to go again and hope to improve on that one. But just a first little go. And what you were saying early on, Shelley, is those first laps are often just to get a feel for the water, get a feel for the conditions at this moment, because as we heard from Sam Coleman earlier, the wind has been picking up as the day's gone on.
Typical weather in the UAE, the wind always picks up in the afternoon, and Saudi Arabia here, definitely the same thing. So these guys haven't had the practice in these conditions because they went out very early this morning, so they've got to listen to that other pilot and hear what it's all about.
We're on board here with Sarah Price in the Westbrook Racing boat. There was a little bit of a slow exit, it looked like, in terms of the pace that we saw other people exiting from that turn earlier on. Just looking at the top right, you can see how fast that she's running towards the final corner, 60 Ks. Trying to keep that trim balanced on the right-hand side of your screen, working.
What I'm interested in is how low her trim is. Remember when we were watching Meritt Strømøy, that her trim was right up. She was more, I want to say, gutsy and was flying it a little bit on the ragged edge, whereas Sarah has come down a little bit.
Yeah, 1:10.9 as
yeah,
well
not as good
for Sarah Price there for Westbrook Racing.
She just wasn't getting the water out there. There's Lucas Ordonez at the back talking, doesn't look that happy. Steve Curtis is their performance coach.
Yeah, Lucas earlier today, not quite the lap that he might have expected. Let's not forget, they were runners-up in the championship last year, this duo, Sarah Price and Lucas Ordonez, riding for Will Smith's Westbrook Racing. As we take a switch back to Team Miami, Mark Anthony's team out there, and it's Anna Glennon, Jet Girl herself, who is just rounding the final smart mark now, so she'll come to the line. Where will she stop the clock on this occasion? Cross the line, a 1:13.
Oh, she's
from
moved up
Anna.
a place as well.
Yeah.
That's put her up into 5th place.
Yeah, on those combined times, though, she is the bottom of this field, effectively. A 1:13 is just out of it, a little bit, a bit far off the delta we've been expecting. Bear in mind, we've had a 1:05 from the likes of Danny Clos and Rusty Wyatt earlier today, so there is still things to find for Team Miami so far. There's Anna Glennon, we go on board with her.
I think the conditions have actually started to change, because that's why all these times are just a little bit slower. I'd be surprised if anyone out in this session does a 1:07, which is our fastest. No, it was 1:05, wasn't it? 1:05. Yeah. I'd be surprised if anyone can do that.
So Katie Munnings, maybe her 1:07 actually is even better than we thought. We'll see
so.
as this session goes on. Remember, this is qualifying time trials, Group 1B. We've had 1A out already, and now the B drivers. It's not about their ability, it's just both of them count. That's the important thing, and it will be average of the 2 lap times that will decide which qualifying race you go into. Top 5, you go into the first qualifying race, and there are points handed out when we get the final seedings, the final positions for our races on Saturday from here in Jeddah. This is Team Drogba again with Yousef Al-Abdulrazzaq, the Kuwaiti out there. He is flying it across, got to go through the little kink of turn 5. You just see the yellow smart mark on his inside. I can see Shelley scanning and looking at the trim, seeing how much work, seeing how hard he's having to do it yet again. He just lets the bottom of the boat just drop into the water to try and get him turned.
You think every time that hull drops into the water, it's like putting the brakes on. Again, brakes. It's not ideal. But
that's an improvement. That's a vast improvement. In fact, that's the fastest of this session. A 106.8 from Yousef Al-Abdulrazzaq for Team Drogba. And Didier himself would think that is a lovely little slot into the corner, because that is a great lap that's been put in by Abdulrazzaq. Bear in mind, Oban Duncan, her time was one of the slower ones earlier today. That's consolidated, hasn't it, with a 106 on that occasion?
Yeah, 100%. He did well there. I really think they've learned this year to grip the corners and actually drop down. I'm loving that.
This is Westbrook Racing.
What Westbrook do.
Yeah,
again.
Sarah Price into the final corners. So there's a long loop. It just straightens up ever so slightly, but she just keeps it planted, keeps it riding. There you can see it'll pop up onto the foils as she exits out of the final corner. The checkered line, a little drop down there, and that will have just affected her drive back on, but she has improved. She had the best first sector of this session so far, however, just dropped off in that second sector, and she's clocked a 109.9, so an improvement, just not quite enough yet. As we now switch quickly, it's all action, isn't it, at the moment in this qualifying time trial. Back to Sarah Mizir for Team Blue Rising of Virat Kohli. She's got it flying there nicely.
Yeah, dropping it down, gripping it nicely as she comes round the corner there. That's very smooth. She doesn't look like she's losing any speed there.
Yeah, really smooth actually.
Very
that wasn't no porpoising as you dubbed it earlier today, and very out of the corner. That was tidy actually from Sarah Mizir, but unfortunately I think it had already gone away from her earlier on in that lap, so no improvement on this occasion.
You can see John Peters there talking her round the lap, as he had the experience before in the previous group. I think I would always put out my more experienced racer in the first group, because they can actually now talk. I know the conditions have changed slightly, but not a lot. It's good coaching and good teamwork.
On board with Anna Glennon for Team Miami. Mark Anthony's beautiful looking outfit. He's announced that the final round of the E1 World Championship will be at home in Miami at the end of the year. We look forward to that one, but for now, here in Saudi Arabia, Anna Glennon doing the business in this qualifying time trial, and she picked up pace there, a 109.4, much improved from Anna.
That was incredible. She's literally gone from a 113 to a 109. So that is an incredible improvement for her.
See how tight the times are. If you look at the top 5 there, they are actually the combined standings. The bottom 4 are still the standings remaining from earlier, but the top 5 are on combined. You can see, Shelley, on combined times, 2 seconds covering those 5 boats out there. Just shows it is going to be super competitive. This, I remind you, is just setting up the qualifying races for later on this afternoon, which of course then will decide the positions on the course for the races on Saturday. We are a go again for Team Alula. Cleaner out of the start line this occasion for Katie Munnings inside LeBron James's boat. Right on board, and you get a real view from inside Katie's cockpit.
Yeah, there she is. She obviously just dipped the foil into the water there, had a little bit of spray coming across. Now, she did an amazing time last time, and her start was kind of stalled. So I'm looking for good things here.
Personal best first sector for Katie. Not surprised, is it?
No.
Having actually got a flying start on this occasion.
Flying start. She looks so young.
Is she blinking? I don't think she's blinking at all. Her eyes there. The amount of concentration that she's having to put in. A little rub of the hands from Rusty Wyatt up in mission control as she heads up to this long looping left-hander. They'll bring her back to the start line. Look good enough.
Is she gonna do it?
He drives out. They can see the checkered smart marks to the line. Is there any improvement for Katie on this occasion? Not this time, I'm afraid to say.
That's surprising, because I thought she was going to do that.
Well, it's almost as if she got the first sector right on this occasion, but not the other two. And then on the previous one, it was the other way around. If she can put an entire lap together, I feel like there's an improvement to be found there for the young Brit.
100%. She certainly got the better start. Just indicate here, Team Westbrook, here we are.
Yeah, it's Sarah Price heading out. This is going to be her final timed lap, but she's got clear water in front of her. That makes such a difference. You can still see it's, we have been here before in Jeddah. They were here for testing, and there's times where, it was a lot smoother, the water. It was a lot less choppy than it is now. I'm not saying it's huge swell or anything like that, but choppier than we have seen here as the wind picks up.
It's definitely choppier than this morning, Gav, which is exactly what Sam Coleman said, that the wind will pick up in the afternoon, as it often does in Saudi.
Oh, that picked up beautifully onto the foil there for Sarah Price as she rounds that smart mark at turn 5, the little right-hand kink. You'll soon see her drop the left foil down in there, you can see, and it will just help her turn around that mark. And again, she had a good first sector, fastest in this session so far on this lap, but it's going to be an improvement, it feels like, as she comes to the line. Now it is. Ooh. Sarah Price goes ahead of Anna Glennon in this session, but that was her final lap, a 1:08.9. So on the combines, you can see they're still 1.8 seconds off Team Alula on the combines. But still, that was another. She's improved on every lap there, and I suppose up in mission control, that is all you can ask for from your pilot.
What more can you do is keep improving, and of course all of this is great practice for this afternoon for the qualifying race, because that is what we're all aiming for, which will give them their position for tomorrow's races. So every single time these boats go out, depending on which pilot's in it, it's so important to do a good lap every time. You can't afford to miss one. I mean, yes, here you have the best of 3, so if you muck one up, okay, you've got 2 more, but it's so important to get that top lap and combine the 2 together, because the positioning on the start grid is crucial, Gav.
You want to get that inside line, don't you? On the run down to the first corner, you've got to hold your line all the way up to that first corner, and so if you have the inside line, it is the huge advantage that you've earned by these qualifying time trials. We're just waiting to see. It looked as though Yousef Al-Abdulrazzaq for Team Drogba was about to get going, and he must have bought in mission. There are 4 boats still with a final lap to go.
Team Miami.
Team Miami are going now with Anna Glennon. She improved by 4 seconds on her previous lap. What can she do on this occasion? A little bit up and down, a little bit bouncy as she went through that first smart mark. But that was a lovely flying across the top of the water down towards, you can see through the first sector, she was under by 0.9 of a second. So a really good improvement on this occasion, just losing a little bit of time around that far corner.
Flying beautifully there, no hull in the water. Can she do another sector and do a best again?
Yeah, she got personal best in that first sector, so should be competitive for Jet Girl. Heading up towards the mark that will bring her back round into these corners and bring her back towards the finish line.
Nice corner there. Oh, just scrubbed a little bit of speed off there. Not so smooth, but she wasn't down for long. She got it, she flew it straight back up.
And bouncing across the line for Anna Glennon and Team Miami, and she does improve. So a 108.141 now, another second knocked off Anna Glennon's time. And look at that, in terms of combines, they are within 0.4 now of Team Alula and Katie Munnings and Rusty Wyatt. So Anna Glennon and Eric Stark up into second spot on the combines. Still 3 minutes to go in this session, still 3 boats have their final laps to take. And I think we're about to get Team Blue Rising, and Sarah Mizid should be about to cross the line now.
Yep, on board here with Team Blue Rising. There she goes.
We're just hearing from down there up at Mission Control, the waves are 20 centimetres higher than for the first session. So as you said, you were talking about, it felt like the conditions were different, and it's another challenge for the pilots to overcome.
Yes, and I bet you the original the first pilots that went out of their team, Rusty Wyatt there.
John Peters, obviously, from Team Blue Rising.
John Peters, I bet he's saying, come on, why aren't you going faster? And the other, the second pilot's probably saying, it's a little bit rougher out here. Can you give me a break?
So here we are on board with Sarah now around the back of the course. She's just coming through the little kink. I mean, it all looks so serene in there. All looks so serene and quiet, and yet she is having to perform so many actions on that steering wheel.
Team Drogba about to start their final lap.
Yousef Al-Abdulrazzaq is heading out there. Meanwhile, we'll keep an eye on Sarah Miziers at the bottom of this session, but looks like she might be able to improve. Remember, she is new. I think she might have actually aborted that. She looks to have... I think, yeah, she's headed back to the milling area. So Sarah Mizier has aborted mission. We can see there on our graphic, level 5 out of 10 for the challenge that this water is offering us. It was 4 earlier, so it just shows it stepped up 1 from early in the day with that 22 kilometres an hour wind.
Yeah, and it's actually going to, they're saying we're going to go up to 25 mile an hour wind this afternoon, gusting. I don't know what that is in kilometres an hour.
Yeah, probably about up to about 40.
Yes,
it's a stiff breeze that's out there, as we have a really good look here at Yousef Al-Abdulrazzaq. Team Drogba coming round the final smart mark to the line, and he's improved again on his time. And in terms of combines, doesn't move up a position, but it was another excellent lap from Yousef Al-Abdulrazzaq for Team Drogba.
1:06, that was incredible.
A new fastest first sector we just had out for Team Alula and Katie Munnings. So she's on a charge here with 20 seconds still to go. Dropped off a little bit in the second sector, but I tell you what, that's still competitive. Still a really good lap as she rounds this final corner now. Katie Munnings, experience in Extreme E, former World Rallycross champion for the ladies, and she's absolutely flying through. That was beautiful out of the final corner for Katie Munnings. She is gunning it, and that is a stunning lap. Fastest of the session, a 1:06.0. Her and Rusty Wright, look at the smile on Katie's face, and she has deserved that smile. What a lap. And on combined times, they've dropped it to a combined of 1:05.9.
That last corner, she glided it round, and there was no hull in the water. She was flying perfectly, didn't lose it once, whereas you saw everyone else, they were bouncing round, and that's where they were losing their speed. Well done, Katie.
What a stunning lap. A brand new team in Team Alula, championed by LeBron James. They were only announced a couple of days ago, and here they are. She is just, she's absolutely flown around this course, on the foils, all the way around the back there, Shelley. And this is through the final corner now. And it's possibly the best we've seen.
That is incredible. She is literally skimming.
It feels like she's got a bit of a wider line coming out, almost if she's carrying more pace. Out of that final corner there. That was some lap that Katie Munnings has just put in, and if Rusty Wyatt had set a bar, she's just raised it again there, hasn't she?
Now there's a question I'm going to find out for us, because are people saying this is a new team, Team Alula, Is it a brand new boat? Is that why it's going faster? I don't know, but I'm going to find that information out for us.
Yeah, well, they put in a brilliant performance, both Katie Munnings and Rusty Wyatt, and they will certainly be going through to qualifying race 1 later on the day. Whatever happens, even if all of the 4 boats going out in our time trial group 2B, even if they all went quicker, they would still be in that QR1. So, I mean, that's an inch-perfect performance, not just from Rusty Wyatt, but also from Katie Munnings, the brand new team on the block, Team Alula, LeBron James. I mean, he's a champion in his own right, an absolute living legend, but I tell you what, super competitive too, and he'll love the fact that they have topped the standings here. Yeah, still one more session to go, but they put themselves in a prime position to pick up points in that qualifying race later on today, where the top 3 score points.
I think they're going to be worried about them. New kids on the block.
As we see Westbrook come back down into the launch zone. Now we can go on board now with Katie Munnings. What an absolutely stunning last lap you've put in there, Katie. If Rusty set the bar, you've just knocked it up a notch after that one.
Yeah, I mean, the boys had me sweating there, leaving it until literally the last minute to pass the checkered flag, and I knew I had to lay it all down on that lap. So that was insane, actually. Both drivers to be P1 in our session after knowing each other for about 4 days. So kudos to the team, and yeah, we're just going to keep pushing the limit from here.
You've gelled instantly. Superb, Katie. Enjoy that one. We'll see you for the qualifying races later on. Excellent performance from Katie Munnings as well as from Rusty Wyatt. Team Alula joining E1 with a bang.
Incredible. And they said they'd only known each other for 4 days. Now, I know they're not in the boat together, but you have got to gel. And Rusty would have been speaking to her through that lap. And unless you're going to listen and take on board and, you know, understand each other, it's not going to work. That clearly works. That is a top team.
Yeah, and it's, as we say, only just been announced a couple of days ago. It is a great story that will follow throughout the weekend from here in Jeddah. You can just get the sensation, can't you, from up there on the drone, looking down at how the wind is picking up, and you can just see, can't you, the wave starting to build around the inlet here. Big smile on her face. How good is that to see?
She comes into into the launch zone there, unstraps her 5-point harness and climbs out. Don't forget your cord on your crash helmet, Katie. You're still talking to us. Oh, look at that.
Thoroughly deserved, isn't it? That
Claps
big
all
smile.
Round. Yeah, very happy.
See again.
You can see how much the boats are moving there, just in the launch zone. So that just gives an idea of the waves and the swell that's coming in there.
A little fist pump as well as she steps up onto the pontoon.
I think we're going to go to Yousef Al-Abdulrazzaq now, Gavin.
Yousef, from bottom to third now, Team Drogba. How was that for you out there?
It was amazing to get back on the top. It was mechanical at the early stage of the Open. Thankfully for the E1 team, they did an amazing job with the time they had to fix the big job, and hopefully we go in the qualifying with a good lineup.
Team Alula have set the bar very high. Just how competitive do you think this season is going to be?
It's going to be interesting. Rusty is a very experienced powerboat rider, and he did an amazing job for the first time. And it's going to be hard to, beat these guys, but it will be possible.
Believe it could be a great season for Team Drogba?
Hopefully, yes. We have a big plan to achieve good results and strategy. So hopefully we be on top.
Yousef, thank you. All the best. Good luck.
Thank you.
So that was Yousef Al-Abdulrazzaq, second in that session. And as it stands on combined, Team Drogba are in third on the combines. Alula from Miami, from Drogba, from Westbrook, and Team Blue Rising. Great performance from Yousef Al-Abdulrazzaq. After disappointment for Oban Duncan, her boat got stuck out on the course earlier today. And this is how Group 1B, the time trials, finished with Katie Munnings in top spot. She was the winner of that time trial, with Yousef Al-Abdulrazzaq team dropper in second, Anna Glennon in third, Sarah Price in fourth place, and Sarah Mizir in fifth place for Team Blue Rising. Welcome back to Jeddah here in Saudi Arabia. It's just gone past 3:15 local time, and we are ready for our final time trial. It's Group 2B, and the final pilots getting their chance to put in their qualifying time trial lap. We're going to have Tom Chiappe for Team Rafa. We've got Timmy Hansen for Team Brazil, Emma Kivilainen, and then we've got Mashallah Lobaidan. There was a really controversial to the Group 2A session earlier today. Danny Clos and Sam Coleman, Aoki versus Brady. It looks here like Sam Coleman's ahead in the Brady boat, but then Danny Clos comes past. Shelley, what's going on here?
They were bad boys, because they were both pushing each other to get the clean water in qualifying, and that's it. I know what they're doing it for. They want that clean water, that perfect route, but they shouldn't have fought each other like that. One should have backed off, and they didn't.
Then why does Sam Coleman then not pull out, abort mission on that occasion?
You cannot. Once you've started one of those flying laps, you can't come back. I think he actually did radio in to say, can he abort? And they said no, which is one of the UIM rules.
So now the question mark is, with 1 minute 30 to go before the green flag, does Mashallah Lobaidan and Emma Kivilainen, do they pick up where their teammates left off? Do they go for it again? Why wouldn't you roll out if you know that there's another boat heading for the start line?
Well, I look at them, they're parallel. I reckon they're going to do it again, because I think these teams, their strategy is their race control, their mission control guys are saying, I want you first out there in clean water. So I hope we have another battle.
But honestly, why wouldn't they? Because they know they're messing up their own laps, don't they, in that situation? Is it just because these are pilots who don't want to be beaten?
It's a fight for the line and a fight for that clean water. Look, I said they're going to go for it. It's a fight for the line and a fight for clean water, and it's basically who gives up first.
I mean, it's already getting spicy. We've
Even
still got qualifying to come, yeah.
Team Brazil is in the fight as well. Look at them.
Timmy Hansen lining up. We've got 30 seconds before the start of the race.
They're fighting for it.
One thing here as well is there is a little bit of practice for a race as well, isn't it? To get yourself up on the foils, cross the line at the right time. That's part of the strategy. You're going to have to work out what point on the course do I need to be to set off. Now, we do know here, it looks like Brady yet. It's going to be Emma Kivilainen has basically shoved the others out of the way effectively, because she's about to pop up onto the foils. They're counting down 10 seconds.
No.
Oh, actually, in Team Brazil and Timmy Hansen look like they're also going for it, and it is Timmy Hansen who is going to cross that start line. Now, is Emma Kivilainen's... Oh, so she's been caught again, just like Sam Coleman was in that first session, and now it's happened again to Team Brady and Emma Kivilainen, and Timmy Hansen has got the run. He's got the clear water.
Now look how bad we are. Team Brady, we're in total mess water. Not a good position to be in when you're trying to do a flying lap. That was the exact same as before. We had a battle between Team Brazil and Team Brady.
Well, it was Team Aoki earlier, and now Team Brazil have done the same, but Team Brady, is it because they're the champions, do you reckon? And people are trying to stick the knife into them early on?
They just want the clean water, and they're going to fight for it till the bitter end.
And they know that Team Brady were the strongest throughout the first season of E1, and they've been put under pressure. Earlier on, it was Team Aoki giving them the run, and today, well, this afternoon now, it is Timmy Hansen in the Team Brazil by the Claret group who is doing the business. And there he is. He looks cooler and calm inside that cockpit, but I tell you what, there's so much going on inside his head, in his hands, in his feet as well, in his ears. And a really good lap actually from Timmy Hansen, again like we just saw with Katie Munnings, going for the wide line out of that final corner, because you can get the run out of the corner. You're not actually making the corner, you're not finishing off the corner, you're just picking up the pace and going straight.
Well, if you can keep the bird flying, keep the E1 race boat flying and glide it round, not drop it at all on that corner, and then literally straight line it to the finish line.
And Team Brady did clock a lap, a 1:10 though, so where we had a 1:07 for Timmy Hansen, 1:07.4, Emma Kivilainen and Team Brady boat with a 1:10. Now we've got Team Aoki around the final couple of corners. Mashallah Lobaidan is about to round it, coming to the finish line now. It looked pretty good through there, a little bit of the bottom of the boat in the water, the hull just dragging a bit. That will possibly, cost her in terms of the lap time, and a 112, my apologies, 112.0 from Michelle.
Yeah, that's a little bit off the mark, isn't it? I knew Team Brady was going to be a little bit slow on that lap because they did. Oh, look, Sam's actually huffing there. It was like, damn it, we didn't make it to the clean water again. But I know that that's their strategy.
Tell us about the conditions. We were looking at them in the interim between the two sessions, and clearly we've heard the waves are 20 centimetres higher. You can visually, I mean, you don't need to know from the stats point of view. Your eyes tell you these conditions are the toughest they've been so far today.
They're getting worse and worse as we're going through the day. And 20 centimetres doesn't sound a lot, but it is an awful lot when you are flying on foils.
Yeah, and you're dealing with tiny amounts of trim and adjustments you're making. Feedback into your steering wheel is just minute and minuscule as Tom Chiappe sets off on his first qualifying time trial lap for Team Rafa. Yeah, Rafa Nadal may have eyes on the Australian Open. I'm not sure he will. I think he'll be watching this at the moment because his team had a good enough session earlier today with Chris Latharaga, and now we're watching Tom Chiappe on the throttle. Good pace he's got actually down this back straight as he gets to that yellow buoy. A little yellow smart mark on the inside, just takes the little right kink and lines himself up for turn 6.
Yeah, now he's going to glide it round this wide corner we have at the bottom of the course.
Best second sector of anyone in this session so far from Tom Chiappe, and look at that, he just drops it in, gets himself turned, powers to the line, little bit of boost perhaps for Tom Chiappe, and he goes up into second on combined standings, a 107.3 from Tom Chiappe and Team Rafa.
Did you see how smooth he came around that corner then? But as he dropped it in, he lifted up back onto the foils so quickly. That's where his skill was, and it was him who was doing it all through practice, and I think everyone else is copying him.
So as they look on from Team Rafa up into second on combined time, still Alula reigning supreme from that Group 1 set of 5 boats, but with these 4 they've got a total of 15 minutes, still 10 to go in this session to complete their 3 time laps. But Team Rafa up into second as we get ready to go again with Team Brazil by Claure Group, with Timmy Hansen in the hot seat as he crosses the line to go again. This is his second timed lap, and it looks like, Shelley, he has found the clear water, and I tell you what, flying beautifully through that first smart mark.
Yeah, he's definitely into clean water, albeit we've got more wake, 20 centimetres gone up. His trim, yeah, he's you can see no one's going right up to the top of the trim now. That's because the conditions got a little bit choppier.
Adjusting all the time to the environment around you. That's what Timmy Hansen's having to do here. You've got to cross with this red smart mark on your left-hand side, and then you're lining up that yellow smart mark next. Trying to get as close to it with your right-hand foil. Little adjustment there on the steering wheel from Timmy Hansen. Again, trying to keep that trim. Not jumping up and down, trying to control it as much as possible as he rounds this final corner.
Now he'll be bringing the trim in, which is actually tucking that engine in a little bit to give him some grip.
That looked good. Really good exit here from Timmy Hansen. I'll tell you what, a 108 on this occasion, though. Not as quick as he was in the previous lap, but the way he finished off that corner was just like Katie Munnings did earlier. We talked about it, actually not finishing the corner off like you would in a race situation, just firing yourself across the line, basically at a different angle than a normal race line.
Well, when the E1 race boat's going in a straight line, that's the best speed, best lift, best speed.
Here we go then with Aoki Racing and Michelle Al-Abdulrazzaq. What's she got here as she comes to the finish line now? The clock ticking all the time. It's an improvement straight up for Aoki Racing and up into 4th place on combines. Good lap from Michelle there, a 109.2. Bear in mind, Danny Clos, the other pilot in the team, had a 105 earlier, so on combines, he had the fastest time of all, on combines into fourth, and it just shows why it's such an important team game. While he had the fastest time, Al-Abdulrazzaq set the clock in a 109, so it might not be one of the quickest, but that combine means, as it stands, they're going through to the first qualifying race.
See, now they're waiting with Emma there, Team Brady, Emma Kimmerlion. I think they're just waiting for the clean water. How long we've got? We've got 7 minutes left. Oh, no, she's going.
Yeah.
It must all clear out there. Yep, she's got a good run this time.
Yeah, talented off-road, but supremely talented now in these E1 race boats. The reigning champions, Team Brady, keep the same lineup this season of Emma Kimmerlion and Sam Coleman. Work to be done, though, on combines, down in 8th place for the reigning champions. A little bit of bullying, a little bit of fighting early on in this session. Look at her trim in comparison to what we saw from Timmy Hansen just moments ago, riding it completely different to the Swede.
Yeah, she's actually up quite high. I'm not sure if that's helping her much. Let's hope. It's difficult to tell from this angle in the cockpit. Ah, now this is better.
The problem is, if you get then too high, the boat becomes very unstable, doesn't it, as you get higher up? I'll tell you what, they'll look like a decent enough run down the back straight there with that little kink. Made up a little bit of time.
Yeah, if you get too high, it's like the boat gets nervous and it twitches, which isn't good because, again, we're losing speed.
This could be a much better lap. Remember, she was in dirty water on her first time trial lap. What we're going to see here as Emma Kimmerlion comes to the line now. It was a 1:10. She goes top in this session, and all of a sudden Sam Coleman's on his feet because he knows she could well have sealed Team Brady passage into that first qualifying race. What a ride that was.
That was incredible. So that trim that we were talking about, she was spot on it, spot on there. That's Katie Munnings, I believe, there, taking a picture of something.
Maybe she's just taking a picture of the standings, because still Team Alula are on top of the combines as things stand. Rusty Wyatt and Katie Munnings from the new Team Alula. Right, we're looking at the sector times for Team Rafa. I tell you what, Tom Chiappe has just done a session best through the second sector. What's it going to be as he comes to the line now? 1.4 under. This is going to be a really fast lap, is it, from Tom Chiappe? Yes, it is. The fastest of the day so far. Well, he said to Alex, didn't he, down in the launch zone, I can do a 2:04, and he has just set, in slightly choppier conditions, the fastest lap of the day so far. So Team Rafa now launch themselves up into second.
Amazing, but look at Tom's face. Look at the heat and the sweat. That's how much these pilots are going through inside the cockpit.
That's a brilliant, brilliant lap from the Frenchman for Team Rafa, who was the king of the French Open, of course, and a little bit of that magic is rubbing off on Tom Chiappe today with the fastest lap of the day so far, a 105.387 on combined times with himself and Chris Lataraga. It puts them in second on combined. This variable boost, I feel, is going to really mix things up. Our top 5 on combined times, less than 1.5 seconds between them, which is incredible to see, and it could get even tighter. There it is, confirmation, fastest lap of the day so far from France's Tom Chiappe and Team Rafa. Now, we're just seeing, I think, Team Aoki, yeah, we're about to head off on another lap with Michelle Al-Abdulrazzaq.
Everybody's got one more lap to try and change these standings at the moment.
Now it looks like on that wide map that she's missing the course there, but she isn't. That's just like the centre line. She's gone around the marks okay. There is a short lap. We talk about the variable boost. We talked about that today. There are short and long laps, but we're not really focusing on them today. They only are going to come into play on race day when you are obliged to take both a long and a short lap during the 6-lap races.
And it will be very, very exciting. It will really mix the field up and not have a procession.
And there's a lot of strategy, isn't there, that's going to come into play when we get down to the race themselves. I tell you what, Al-Abdulrazzaq there was flying beautifully around that final corner. It looked like a decent one. It was a personal best through the second sector for Michelle, and she's about to come across the line now, and 109.2 for Aoki Racing, and that's only 5th on the combines. With just 3 minutes to go, are they going to hang on to that 5th spot? Bear in mind, Danny Clos did have the fastest time before this session. And on combines, they're on 5th place. 2 minutes 40 to go. So Aoki are done. Marcelo Lobaidan has done her 3 time laps. That's it, no more. We've still got one to come. From Team Brazil on the left there, Timmy Hansen, Team Brady, and you can just see at the top of the picture, and then Team Rafa right at the top there of the course, just waiting. But with 2 minutes 20 to go, a little bit of kidology here, and Emma Kymäläinen looks to have picked it up, and she's decided to bite the bullet and go for it now. I think she was almost waiting to see if Timmy Hansen and Team Brazil were going, but they don't want to be caught out, do they?
No, not again. They've fought for the clean water twice today. Let's not muck this up. I think they've said, right, let's go while it's as clean as it's going to be at this stage.
So away goes the Finn. Emma Kymäläinen for Team Brady. As it stands, they are currently sitting in 3rd place on combined times. Their place in that first qualifying race could be assured, but nothing is guaranteed. With still Team Brazil to set another lap. Remember, those top 5 places, as things stand, they will be the seedings. They will be the position they have to take up on the course at the start of the qualifying race. That looked superb. We talk about the high trim again, Shelley.
She just did a personal best there, actually, Emma, for that first sector, so that was fabulous.
And again, you talked about her riding a little bit higher than Team Brazil, perhaps. So I wonder if that collaboration with Sam Coleman having gone out, having a really good eye up there, helping out as Emma Kymäläinen rounds that. That looks beautiful, doesn't it? Like a spaceship flying on top of the water, really digging in though, as she rounded the final smart mark to the line here for Team Brady and Emma Kymäläinen. And has she just been able to improve on that one just ever so slightly, so stay in 3rd place. 0.8 on combined behind Alula Racing. Team Brazil have gone far part of the track. We can see Timmy Hansen now. This is his last shot at it for Team Brazil. They're currently in 7th place. Needs something here. I'm not quite sure if this is going to be it, Shelley, unless he can find something in this corner.
Let's hope he can. Is he gonna drop and cut in tight? No, he's going to glide it round.
Here we can see we ride on board with Team Brazil, and they see he's actually heading for the right-hand side. Actually,
it looks like he's going for the wall.
Absolutely. And he comes across the line now, and no improvement, unfortunately, on this occasion for Timmy Hansen, and that means Team Brazil Bioclare Group will be in the qualifying race 2.
I felt that he took that a little bit too wide.
Here we go then. Our fastest pilot of the day is going to be our last pilot to complete the session. The checkered flag is being waved. Tom Chiappe will just be coming around to finish his final lap. He will finish the day as the fastest pilot. Let's see how the fastest pilot does it as he comes around that final corner now to the line for Tom Chiappe and Team Rafa. 2nd on combined times, but that's been a really good day at the office for Tom Chiappe. No improvement on this lap, but I'm not sure he can improve on what has been the best lap we have seen here on race day -1. Hugs all round for Team Alula, Rusty Wyatt and Katie Munnings. This going into the final. They will have that inside line in the qualifying race later on today.
Which is so important, Gavin. That pole position, getting that inside line, you actually can just ignore the rest of the fleet to your right and just concentrate on taking the corner as best you can.
It will be Team Rafa alongside them in 2nd place when we set off later on this afternoon. Team Brady in 3rd, Team Miami in 4th, and Aoki Racing in 5th place. And I think we can now speak down there. We're just having a look at the Team Rafa boat from Tom Chiappe, who has just set the fastest lap of the day. Let's see if we can have a word on board with the Frenchman. Tom, that is the fastest lap of the day so far. A huge congratulations. I'll tell you what, it looks a little bit hot down there in the cockpit. Not surprised at the pace you were going.
Yeah, I'm happy about like the fastest lap for sure. Close to the pole position, I mean, but yeah, like only sit with them. I think on the last lap I can do it, but with the wave and the condition like changing, was not able to do it. But like I'm still happy to have the fastest lap. The team making incredible job this weekend, and let's see for the race. Vamos!
Vamos indeed. Congratulations, Tom. Yeah, that's brilliant from Tom Chiappe there. Team Rafa second on combined times, but you know, later on when we get going in that qualifying race, almost certain that it will be Tom at the helm. You would have thought, having put in the fastest lap of the day, and it means we're going to have a real battle on our hands, aren't we, when they get going in that qualifying race this afternoon. The fastest 5 boats on combined times will all fight off against each other later on today, not only for pole position on race day, but for 3 points later on this afternoon.
But you said something interesting there. You said, will they put Tom Chiappe in? The pilots have to then alternate for the rest of the weekend of racing. So if they do Tom Chiappe, it then has to go male, female, male, female. Yeah. Now, do they want him to end up at the finals?
Yeah, it's all interesting, all part of the strategy.
Do you know what? The strategy, you could do all of your research in the world. Tonight, they could all sit down and go, this is our strategy. This is when we're going to take the long lap. This is going to take short lap. And then in the race, it will all go to pot.
As the wind picks up even more, and everything, the feel that you've got from earlier on is completely different. But I'm so impressed by what he's done there. We didn't know in the choppier conditions, let's not forget that, if a lap time like that was possible. And, well, it means he's going to be a force to be reckoned with Team Rafa later on this afternoon.
I think the story of the day so far is Team Alula. Where have they come from? Fresh out the box.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Rusty Wyatt and Katie Munnings will have done LeBron James proud with their performance. They're going to go in with that first seed, the inside lane, for the start of the race. The qualifying race, that is, later on this afternoon, which will set us up for a race day here in Jeddah that promises to be so exciting. So as we look at all the boats back there in the launch zone, there's Michelle Alobaidan has just managed to squeak through for Aoki Racing. But let's hear from Team Alula and Katie Munnings down there in the launch zone.
Katie, what a start to the day for Team Alula. How pleased are you with the way things have gone?
Yeah, we couldn't be more happy. We really weren't expecting it. We just managed to pull the trigger when it counted. The team have been working so hard on all the days off out here, trying to learn the boat and get up to speed. Obviously, I raced last season, but now racing with Rusty, he's bringing a completely new energy to the team, having all of his powerboat experience. It's been amazing.
You've only known Rusty for 4 days. Would you say it was an instant connection?
He's great, and most importantly for me, he's got a cracking sense of humour, so we get on really well. But yeah, also he can drive a boat pretty quick as well.
Certainly can. What's the best approach, Katie, to the qualifying race?
It's really difficult because it's that one lap shoot, so it's a completely different strategy with boost and racing lines. Everything's different. Here he is, he's the man, compared to the race. So we really tried to dial that in and just take it step by step. We've got to completely regroup now to try and figure out how to win a race.
Yeah, new teams as well. How much are you looking forward to more competition as well this season?
It's nice to be the underdog. I think youth pride.
Underdog?
Well, when we came in, obviously it's a completely new team. They don't know the boat. The engineers haven't worked in this before. And Rusty the same, learning to drive it for the first time this week. You said to me earlier that you thrive under this pressure, though. You enjoy it.
Yeah, pressure's always good. I've always loved the pressure for that. It's a team job. Katie and I, we kind of struggled all week, to be honest, to set the boat up and kind of get it to our feeling and whatnot. But we made a good plan this morning, and it worked out. And it's a team effort. Katie's a beast, so let's go.
Have things gone better than expected today?
Yeah, to be honest, I obviously want to get P1, but I thought it was a long shot. But Team Alula.
Well, enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you very much. He's got a race to go win now.
Yeah, exactly. No pressure.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Slum dunking their way into top spot today. It's Team Alula, championed by LeBron James, who is the fastest boat on day one. A team effort was all that both pilots were talking about there, because both of their incredible lap times have contributed to them being the fastest boat in the qualifying time trials, and they will be heading through to our Group 1 qualifying race later on this afternoon. So let's just have a look a little bit at the confirmation of that Group 2B qualifying time trial. Tom Chiappe actually set the fastest lap of the day for Team Rafa with a 105.38. Emma Kimmerlein there for Team Brady. That's a decent lap time, and that means on combines they are going to be in lane 3 for that qualifying race. In fact, we can see that now as we just saw Team Brazil there. Right, these are the time trial results on combines. Team Alula topping things from Rafa, Team Brady, Team Miami and Aoki Racing taking the final spot. Big thanks there to Danny Clos and his performance with the one of the fastest laps of the day, second now behind Tom Chiappe. The second qualifying race will be Team Drogba, Team Brazil, Westbrook Racing from Will Smith and Team Blue Rising in that second qualifying race. So beautiful scenes here in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. There is work to be done, however. There is more racing to come. From here they can see Philippe Chiappe alongside his son Tom as they get ready. How are they going to perform later on? We've got our qualifying races from here in Jeddah about to come up later on this afternoon, and he'll be one of the favourites taking on Team Alula and Rusty Wyatt from Team Rafa's point of view. It's the Jeddah GP in the E1 World Championship. We'll see you for those qualifying races later on this afternoon.